What would someone do if they acquired your company today? This is a great question to ask when you're feeling stuck and overwhelmed in your business and you're not sure what to do next in order to achieve your goals. So many times business owners get stuck in indecision, procrastination, analysis paralysis, and let's be honest, they get stuck in their old ways of doing things, refusing to break out of their own habits and patterns, and this prevents the business from growing. The other day, I was working on solving a problem for myself in one of my companies, and I finally came to the conclusion that I needed to get out of my own way, and I needed to ask myself, what would someone do if they acquired this business tomorrow? And I immediately knew the right decision to make. And chances are, if you ask yourself that question, you will also land on the answers very, very quickly. Remember, procrastination many times comes from anxiety about a situation or, the anticipation of what you're going to go through in order to accomplish the outcome or to get through the situation at hand. We have to remember that as business owners, we took an oath of the buck stopping with us, which means that there's no one to blame. There's no one coming to save us. And you have to find a way to get out of your own way so that you can get your business growing again. In today's episode, I'm going to be walking you through the steps that I took when I acquired one of the companies that's in my portfolio today. I was a silent investor in this company. I was not a part of the running of the day-to-day. I wasn't a part of the actual execution of the strategy in the business. And when I fully acquired the business, I had to do a full and total revamp in order to get the business growing the right way, building the brand at the profitability level that we needed to be at. And so I want to walk you through what I did and why I did it. And hope is that while you listen to this episode, it maybe sets some light bulbs off for you in terms of areas to make adjustments in your business in order to get your company growing more quickly. So I'm going to walk you through basically 11 things that we did when we acquired this business. And I say we because I immediately promoted staff from my existing company to take over this new business. And that's one of the reasons why I'm able to have a portfolio of 6 companies. I have talent and tenure in my businesses that I've built over time. And as I want to start a new project or launch a new company or bring a new product to market, I am going to always tap existing people that have already had success with me that can quickly get results. That is the ultimate hack for growing your business. But that said, let's go right from the beginning. So first of all, the first thing that we did is we went from a staff of 8 to a staff of 2. I found immediately upon digging into the company that there were tons of redundancies, lots of people managing people instead of people executing tasks. There were a lot of contractors that were unneeded, that were creating extra time, extra energy, and extra management responsibilities that were unneeded. So we took 8 roles and we simplified them into 2 part-time roles. And we were able to accomplish everything that those 8 people were doing with 2 fractional roles that were internal versus 8 roles that were external. So this is a common problem that I see with a lot of entrepreneurs that get stuck around the $500,000 to $1.5 million mark in their businesses. They have way too many staff members. They're way too fragmented in what people are doing, and they have way too many contractors versus internal employees. One good internal employee can account for 4 to 5 external contractors. Okay, so that was number 1. Number 2 was we had to simplify immediately the offer suite. It was way too confusing. It was way too complex. It was more extra work to manage. It was harder to market. We went from 4 different offers down to 1 core offer with up-leveled kind of areas where you could elevate within the ecosystem, but only 1 core offer with components once you were inside that offer of how you could up-level and reinvest. That was huge. The third one was we raised the price. by a lot. And we did this because we had a very clear vision of what we wanted to deliver inside the offer. And in order to do that, the cost infrastructure had to align with what we wanted to deliver and how we wanted to deliver, the value that we wanted people to experience, and the type of customer that we wanted to attract. We knew that we were going to immediately up-level the avatar of the brand, and we knew that we wanted to make sure the experience, the delivery, and kind of the positioning of the brand was correct for the market that we were going to be targeting. A lot of people think that if they price their offer lower, it will attract a higher volume of sales, but sometimes you have to be careful because when you're priced too low, people that are at the level that you want to attract may not take that offer seriously. So you just have to be nuanced and you have to be a little bit careful and smart with that. And, this is something I've been talking about a lot, this year because of what's going on economically. But let's just be honest, right? When you work with a more sophisticated avatar, yes, their expectations are higher and they want to see that you're a true expert at what you do. But the flip side of it is that they are more stable, they are more self-managed, they require less handholding, and they tend to get better results. They stay longer, they refer more often, and they're just overall a better client. And so we knew that in order to fulfill the vision of where we wanted to take the company, that the avatar had to change. And that meant that it was no longer applicable to a lot of the current and past customers. We were okay with that. We took a big risk in completely relaunching the brand with a new avatar and a new price point. And we basically built it from the ground up so that we made sure that the avatar, the brand, and the offer were all in full alignment. And this is something to really ask yourself right now because a lot of people are kind of frustrated, banging their head against the wall, wanting to sell to this market versus the market that they have, but not necessarily effectively cultivating the brand presence that they need in order to bridge over to the new audience that they want to sell to. So you have to make sure that your marketing, that your brand building, that your offer all align with the avatar that you want to build an audience of. And you have to recognize that up-leveling an audience or an avatar, it takes many months. It doesn't mean you won't start to have success fairly quickly, but it's a multi-year project to build an established audience bought into your brand in a new avatar category. And keeping that in mind is really, really important. And that fed right into what we did next, which was revamp the actual brand, the look, the feel, the essence, the angle of the go-to-market strategy. We sharpened it, we up-leveled it, we refined it. We got a lot more clear on exactly what the brand stood for, who we wanted to be in the market, how we were visually presenting that, what the look and feel was going to be, the energy of the brand. And again, this is one of those things that for some of you, I'm really hoping that listing out every step that we took will give you clarity, because for some of you, just doing one of these things on this list that I'm going through would be the game changer. Some of you, your brand is crusty, right? No new photography, outdated graphics, still using fonts or colors that they don't represent what you're trying to sell in the market. And you have to realize that with social media, everything's visual now. Absolutely everything is visual. And so you absolutely have to make sure that your brand is on point in today's market and that your brand is your brand. I see so many people that are trying to create a brand simply duplicating or copying someone else's. And I think that's the absolute worst idea for you to do, because you'll never have category ownership when you do that. You'll always kind of be that person that people are like, doesn't that brand look very similar to ABC XYZ person's brand? And it just removes all credibility and all authority. So let's just recap quickly. We talked about what would we do, or what would someone do if they were to acquire your brand tomorrow? And I gave you that as a question to ask so that you can get unstuck in your business. I literally went through this exercise for myself a couple days ago, which is why I decided to record this episode. I was like, wow, that just got me unstuck. And I know that this will help you to get unstuck as well. That's why I'm giving you these points that we went through when I did acquire a brand, because for some of you, you're going to hear me say the exact thing that you need to do to get your business unstuck and growing. So I'm going to go through those points again. Number one, we went from 8 staff members to 2. We went from 4 offers to 1. We went and raised the price dramatically. We up-leveled the avatar. We relaunched the actual visual brand, the essence, the language, the pillars for the content, the go-to-market strategy, all of it. Every element of the visual things that you interface and interact with the brand. And then we redesigned the client experience. Now, I want to pause here and talk about this for a moment, because for a lot of you, you're still selling a client experience that was really in demand a couple years ago, and it's no longer really in demand today. People's wants and needs are absolutely evolving, and people have a very different mentality today when they're investing in products, programs, and services than they did even a year ago. Okay, so for us, initially, this brand was launched during the pandemic. There couldn't be in-person events and meetings, and everything was being done online. There was a lot happening online every single week. There were a lot of touch points, a lot of different interfaces, and we knew that to get to where we wanted to go and to become who we wanted to be, we needed to flip that around. So we still have several online components, but our core focus is in-person meetups in your local town or city. We've created a whole tier for $1 million business owners called A-List Adventures, for events for people that are running multi-million-dollar companies, as well as the opportunity to be a local leader at the front of the room if you want to actually link up with us and be the leader in your local town or city, which creates a lot of authority, a lot of business building opportunities, a lot of networking opportunities, an easy in to get sponsors, to get introductions, to connect with your ideal leads locally. Like, there's just so many benefits. It's insane. But we redesigned the entire client experience end to end, not only to match the avatar, which is million and multi-million dollar business leaders, but also to focus in specifically on what the core essence of the brand was, which is, owning your little corner of the world, building, local, creating an in-person network, building friends in the business world that become your chosen family. I could go on and on and on, but it was really getting clear on what was the experience that was going to facilitate that. And it was flipping the script to really focus on local for local, things in your back, your corner of the world right by your home, and the ability, once you become a member, to be able to visit and drop in on any meeting anywhere in the world. We also knew that getting new locations up and running was one of the most important elements of building the brand and taking the market position that we wanted to take, which is why we also really focused on that new tier of local leaders that's been, really effective. And by the way, if you're listening to this and you run a multi-million-dollar business and you'd love to initiate a local peer-to-peer mastermind group for networking, collaboration, introduction, and business exchange in your local area, definitely DM me the word advance if you want to learn more about the opportunity to be at the front of the room in your local area. So we redesigned the client experience to match the ideal client, but also we were really, really intentional about scanning the landscape of other organizations that were quote unquote in the same category of us and really building our own lane and making sure that there was nothing else like the experience that people could get inside our organization, and really making sure that when we build out the experience that people would say, this is one of a kind. It doesn't matter how many other organizations that you're a part of. You'll never experience anything like this. This is going to become your go-to organization for peer-to-peer mastermind, networking, collaborations, and introductions. And so we were really aware of getting the scope of what other options were available on the market and how to find our own blue ocean within a very saturated market and category to be able to build inroads towards what we were trying to accomplish. Then we did a lot of talking to current and past customers to get feedback. And we got a lot of very valuable and meaningful feedback about what worked and what didn't work, and what people liked and what people didn't like. And this is a tip I would give everyone listening, because this is like your most valuable asset in business is customer feedback. And I think so often, especially when you've been in business for a while, you get away from doing these basic foundational things that can be make or break in your market. You might be killing yourself to deliver 8 components of a product, and your people only want 1 or 2. You could charge less, you could serve more, you could make a bigger difference, you could have happier customers that stayed longer, referred more often, all of those things just by getting more customer feedback. And that's exactly what we did. We reached out to both current customers and past customers to really make sure that we could understand why they were attracted to the brand to begin with, what they got, what they wanted, what they needed, and that was super helpful in reconstructing the offers. We then did a win-back campaign because we knew that there was a segment of the population that maybe they had an experience of the old organization. We wanted them to be able to come back and have a taste of the new one. Did a win-back campaign for anyone that was qualified based on the new criteria for membership. And then we designed a new launch. We had to make sure that the reinvention of the brand had a one-to-many go-to-market solution. Now, what's really interesting is a lot of our success in the advance has come from really creating the noise online about the in-person local meetups. And we get a lot of interest from people when they see physically photos and videos and live streams of the events taking place. But what helped us get the new brand out there and do brand building was relaunching it and using the live launch to reintroduce the brand to the market. And we still do a mix of promoting the local sessions and promoting the local leaders program, but also using the live launch to create exposure for the brand. And I talk about this all the time, the importance of live launch, not just being a sales tool, but being a brand building tool. And that's been really, really essential for us in getting the message to the market in a one-to-many capacity. What you have to think about is, is it time for there to be a reinvention of your live launch in the way that you do it, in how you do it, when you do it, what your topic is, how you're speaking, what you're speaking about, like really getting clear on what the direction of the brand for the future is going to be, and making sure that you're totally energetically connected to what you're doing. And I think one of the things that's happened to a lot of people over the last couple of years is as they've kind of felt some frustration in their brand, or, not been as satisfied with the results in the business, they're kind of like launching and they're marketing and they're selling and they're doing all these things, but like they're not even bought into their own thing anymore. Like they're not loving what they're doing anymore. They're not loving what they're selling anymore. And I think that subconscious energetic disconnect will absolutely kill your sales. And so I would really ask yourself that question, both about your offers, about your launch, about your infrastructure, about your service delivery mechanism, and make sure that you're creating full alignment of everything that you're doing, because it's very difficult to get exceptional results when you don't feel fully aligned or excited or passionate about what you're doing. We created a new Facebook group. Of course, people ask me all the time, are Facebook groups dead? No, Facebook groups are not dead. We still have so much traction, so much success, so much results. And we have Facebook groups for almost all of my companies. We have one for the Business Advisory. We have one for Kelly Roach International. We have one for the Advance. We have one for Conviction Marketing Agency. We have one for Give Her Courage, the Virtual Business School. We have one for so all of the companies have their own Facebook group. And the reason why is that they're so effective. We get so many leads. We get so many sales. So people ask me all the time, are Facebook groups still effective? Absolutely, they are. But it's all in the management. The reason why I wanted to mention this today to you all is that you may need to relaunch your Facebook group, or you may need to build a new Facebook group. But if you're not having your Facebook group create offers, create dollars for your business, then you may need to do a relaunch. Okay. And finally, we developed all new SOPs for the company, systems, processes, documented, standard operating procedures for everything. But that's a lot. That's a lot. But what's amazing is we did it in like 90 days. And we did it really, really quickly, full relaunch of the brand. And it has been so much fun. It's been so exciting. We're attracting just incredible leaders from around the globe, new cities launching every single month. So worth the effort, absolutely A to Z. But the point of me going through all of these things with you is to help you identify, like, where are you stuck in your business and what do you need to evaluate? And sometimes the fastest, easiest way to figure that out is to ask yourself, what would someone else do if they took over your job tomorrow? And it is a great, great question, because chances are they'd come in and they'd blow some things apart right away. And they'd make some changes right away that you have either held back on, or you've procrastinated around, or you've been in indecision on. And what you need to realize is that in a market like today, you need to move fast. Speed of execution is going to make or break the profitability of your business. And so the ability to make decisions quickly and course correct along the way is going to be one of your top skill sets in a market like the one that we're operating in right now. And I hope that going through these kind of 11 core things that we did in the business, I hope that that will be helpful for you in looking at some unlocks for your own business. If you love what I shared today and you want to learn more about our local leaders program inside the Advance, or you want to learn about membership to the Advanced Innovation Society because you're interested in getting together in your local neighborhood and networking, collaborating, sharing referrals, doing exchanges, and you also want to have access to our advanced members and meetups all around the globe, you can DM me the word advance, and we would love to connect with you and see whether it's a fit. So thanks so much for listening to the episode today. I hope you got some definitive things that you can take action on right away to accelerate growth in your business. And I would love to hear from you if you want to learn more about the Advanced Innovation Society. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you back here on the next episode.